I've been the side chick for married men for a long time. There was a moment in my life where if it was bills, if it was helping me through college, if it was my birthday and holidays, those are the men that showed up in my life. And I've definitely outgrown that now. I'm 35. I'm not looking to be anybody's side chick, but it leans into just a lot of me realizing the lack of worth that I had for myself, the lack of respect I had for myself.
Okay, pause. This exactly is what we need to talk about. This is no longer empowerment. This is conditioning. And if you don't understand what choices like this do to you on the long term, you end up rejecting the relationship you say you want. Now let's unpack this properly. Before we start, I need to be clear. This video is not about shaming women. And it is not about shaming this woman in particular. It's not about pretending I'm morally superior. And it's not about denying that people make survival-based choices. This is about what these choices do to you over time, and why reframing them as empowerment can block the relationship you claim you want to have. Now for context, this woman explains that she has spent several years being a side chick to married men on purpose. She says they treat her better, they paid her bills, and most importantly, she knew they could never marry her. And now that she's older, she says she wants a real relationship. Wild, right? But she doesn't believe in monogamy because she believes she can love multiple people at once. That combination is not random. It's very connected. Let's unpack this carefully.
And to me, if you're a married man, this ain't about love. So you want something out of me, I want something out of you. And it was like those types of conversations that I was having in my my late teens, early 20s, that kind of shaped the way I view relationships even today.
This is one of the most revealing statements in her entire video, because what she's really saying is, I feel safer with people who were emotionally unavailable. And that's not rare. That is not uncommon at all. That is protective psychology. If you know that someone cannot fully choose you, there is no risk of real rejection. No illusion, no disappointment. You already know the ending, so you don't have any reason to hope. But here is the cost. When you repeatedly choose relationships where love is impossible, your nervous system learns that distance equals safety. So later on, when someone becomes emotionally available for you, it doesn't seem exciting. It feels threatening. This is where the conversation gets uncomfortable but necessary. Stay with me. Let's separate morality from impact. Whether you call this transactional dating, survival strategy, or consent-based exchange, the emotional outcome doesn't disappear just because the transaction was logical. When intimacy is consistently tied to money, provision, or material relief, your body learns something very specific, that connection equals to transaction, affection equals to compensation, and closeness equals to utility. So later on, when someone wants you without feeling the need to pay for you, it can feel confusing or even devaluing to you. Not because love is worthless, but because your system has been trained to equate your worth with exchange. And there's this popular thing where a lot of side chicks feel like they are being treated better by the married men they sleep with. You need to understand something. Married men will always treat you better on the surface. And this is why. There is no shared responsibility. There is no future building pressure. There is no accountability. And there is no real conflicts. And this is because you're getting the best version of a man who doesn't have to show up. You're not with him 24/7. So you see just fragments of him, and he has to be at his best at these times that he's with you. So you're getting like a curated version of him that you're assessing. And when that becomes your reference point for real relationships, real partnership starts to feel disappointing, because real partnership has a lot of stress, has a lot of exposure, and has a lot of sacrifice. We all know that fantasy always feels easier and sweeter than reality. A real relationship requires mutual exclusivity. It requires long-term emotional investments. It requires shared consequences. And it requires choosing one person even when other people want you. That is a conscious choice to choose this person every day. You cannot want the safety of commitment while rejecting the discipline that makes commitment work. People get stuck because they want intimacy without emotional risk. They want love without dependence. They want stability without limitation. That combination does not exist. This is the most important distinction to make. Some people choose non-monogamy from a grounded place, before trauma, before betrayal, before prolonged emotional avoidance. Others arrive at, non-monogamy, that is wanting several people, after years of being rejected, unwanted, or hidden. Those are not the same. When monogamy starts to feel unnatural, after you've spent years in a relationship where exclusivity was impossible, we have to ask, is this a belief or is this a self-protective identity? Because sometimes when someone says, I don't believe in monogamy, it really means I don't find myself worthy enough to be fully chosen by one person, and then I cannot risk being abandoned by this person. Loving multiple people is not the flex people think it is.